Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Samantha. So today's video is about something that happened to me when I was a teenager, and I've really wanted to speak about this for ages, and I've literally not mentioned it on here at all. Not many people even know about this, even my friends. It was a long time ago, but nonetheless it was a scary part of my life because I didn't know what was wrong with me. When I was 15, I started to get really bad headaches. They were like every single day. They were awful, and I just didn't know why it was. I went to the doctor about it, and she originally thought I had a problem with my sinuses, so they sent me for an x-ray of my nose, which is, I don't know, stupid now when I think back. I don't know, maybe it's not stupid, but I just feel like they should have checked because of what actually ended up happening to me. So over the next couple of years, I got really ill, and I was missing loads of school because it was kind of around the time of GCSE/A-levels. It really did reach its peak during my A-levels, and I was diagnosed just after I finished my A-levels. I think I was about 18 or 19. I think you're 18, aren't you, when you do your A-levels? I could have been 19 by then. So obviously, like I say, I was having headaches, severe daily headaches for 2 years straight. But I started to develop some other symptoms. I was becoming very sensitive to light, and even being like out in the sun and the heat really was completely unbearable for me. I went on holiday with my family, and they just didn't know what was wrong with me. My auntie was like saying to my mum on the phone, "I don't know what's wrong with Samantha, like she seems to be fussing a bit about like going in the sun." They probably just thought I was being silly. And then I started to actually gain weight quite rapidly. I've always been really petite and slim, so this wasn't like normal for me at all. And so like I was obviously getting all these symptoms and stuff, and then it's kind of embarrassing, I guess, this next symptom, but it's this kind of thing, there needs to be awareness of, because I just didn't know what was going on when this happened to me. I started producing milk, like, when you have a baby. And I remember like my boobs would really hurt, and God, like it was really painful. They started to get bigger, and I've always had quite small boobs. And so like at first I didn't really think anything, but one day, obviously until I actually noticed there was milk there, I was in the shower. Honestly, I didn't know what to think. I certainly didn't think that it would be linked to what it was linked to in the end. I just thought, I don't really know what I thought. I just thought it was really weird. So anyway, obviously I told my mum, and I did go to the doctor. What then happened was, obviously I went to the doctor and they ordered me to have like blood tests and stuff. But I then started to lose weight really rapidly, and my weight was really low. It was lower than it is now, and I'm currently not great weight-wise because of my stomach issues and stuff that you guys know about if you watch my videos. So yeah, I started to lose weight rapidly. I had no energy, like I just felt really bad. The headaches were getting worse. I was nauseous, very irritable, like really bad mood swings and stuff. And anyway, the blood tests obviously the results came back and they were abnormal, and I had to go into the doctors for an appointment. Sometimes they'll give you your results over the phone, but obviously they didn't do this for me because there was markers flagging up in a few different areas. So I went to the doctors. Obviously I was really, really worried. You know, this kind of thing's terrifying when it happens to anyone. I mean, obviously at this point I didn't know what I was going to ultimately be diagnosed with, but you know, that worry of like, you know, oh, you need to come in to see the doctor, like your blood's on okay. So anyway, I went for my appointment and she said your hormone levels are off. So it was shown that I had really high prolactin levels, and I'd never heard of prolactin. Like, I was like, okay, what's that? And anyway, it's the hormone that I think, like, when you've had a baby you produce, which makes you produce milk. And so this was, you know, the internet wasn't as big then, so I wasn't like Googling all my symptoms like I do now. So anyway, she was like, well, you need to go and have an MRI scan. And so then I was like, right, okay, you know, and I was really started to get worried. Although I feel like if this happened again, I'd probably be more worried than I was then. I feel like I was a little bit, because I was young, I didn't really know how serious this was. Anyway, so I had to wait ages for my MRI scan, so that meant more worrying, and because I was worrying I continued to lose weight. And obviously because of what was wrong with me, I guess, was probably, I would imagine, was causing the fluctuations in my weight. So anyway, after a long wait, I can't remember how long it was, I think I was quite urgent obviously because of my symptoms, but I went to have my MRI scan, and that was horrible as well. Like, they put your head in a box kind of thing. I had like a mirror that was like reflecting, so I couldn't tell I was completely boxed in, if that makes sense. So they injected some dye into my vein, and obviously I went into the MRI scan and had my scan. And when I came out, they didn't give me any results at that point. They just sent me away and said, you'll have the results in 4 to 6 weeks, or 6 to 8 weeks, I can't quite remember. So that felt like the longest wait ever. It was just like the slowest, like at least 6 weeks of my life, and I was just absolutely terrified. Every day I woke up, it was the first thing I thought of. You know, I knew what they were looking for now, and it was really, really hard to deal with, especially at that age, because like I was having my stomach problems, I was getting bullied at school, I was just feeling really ill. Like, my friends, I mean, you say friends, but no, like, they obviously weren't my friends. People at school would talk about me like, you know, oh, she's off all the time. And this one girl like said to me once, because I said, do you mind letting me know what we've been given for homework? And she was like, oh, well, if you actually came to school, you would know. And so obviously I literally didn't tell anyone at this point what was going on with me and how ill I actually was, and I was in palpitation. Lovely. God, could I have any more wrong? I get these sometimes, sorry. Apparently coughing's meant to help. Anyway, so obviously I was embarrassed anyway, because I'm that kind of, well, I was that kind of person, especially when I was younger. I was worried like what people thought of me, because I was young and I was growing up and stuff. So they were obviously all, you know, talking about me, and there was like, you know, these funny rumours going around about me at school that I was like off doing my Avril Lavigne lookalike thing, work. I wish I was, but I wasn't. The truth was that I was extremely unwell. and living my life feeling terrible. So yeah, you know, when you're in that situation, every day that you wake up, the first thing in your mind is, you know, like, you do think the worst, you know. And anyway, like, this letter came through, and it said that I needed to go for an appointment at the to see the neurologist and the endocrinologist as well at the hospital. So I went and I got my results. So I was basically told that I had a brain tumour, but I will say that it wasn't cancerous. I was very lucky. I was very lucky. I mean, I have to still, even now, it could come back at any point. I get worried when I start getting a lot of headaches and stuff because of the type of tumour I had, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Yeah, like, I was obviously, like, relieved but still worried because I had a type of brain tumour. And I was very young, like I said, I was very young at the time, and it was a lot to take in. I just finished my A-levels as well, so I was like waiting for the results. It was all within the summer of that year. I'm trying to think when it was. I think it was 2007, yeah. So yeah, it was 11 years ago now. It's crazy. And so anyway, they said to me, you know, it's obviously, they were encouraging. They said, you know, it's not a cancerous tumour. You've got what is called a pituitary tumour. Honestly, I just had no idea like what that even meant. So if you don't know what it is, you've got the pituitary gland in your brain, and that produces all your hormones and stuff. And then I think also near that you've got like the thermostat type of thing in your brain, which regulates your body's heat, like your temperature and stuff. So I had, basically I had a tumour on my pituitary gland. Now, luckily for me, I didn't need surgery, but I was put on a very, very strong medication. I think it was called Docentex. That could just be the brand name though, I'm not sure. Which essentially is a tumour shrinking medication, and I was absolutely terrified to take this tablet. I mean, I wanted to take, obviously, because I thought I want to get rid of this thing. That is where I can havoc with my body and my hormones and everything. So yeah, I was put on that for 5 years. That's a long time. I was actually only discharged in 2013, so I was still being seen for a very long time, and I'm not sure, I feel like I'm meant to have like checkups every, I don't know how many years, but I would imagine I'll have to be checked again at some point. I really hope this thing doesn't come back. It was terrible, like it made me feel terrible. You know, it was really scary. It was a really hard time in my life. Yes, I didn't have cancer. I'm very thankful for that. And I didn't need surgery. I'm very lucky. But I can't, you know, there's no denying that it really made me extremely unwell. And it really affected my life growing up. And it was really hard to deal with at school. So yeah, I, to this day, still get worried that it's going to come back. I really hope it doesn't, but I've heard that it's common that it can come back. I've asked for an MRI recently because I've been getting a lot of headaches, but I have other health conditions like endometriosis, which is again another hormone problem. I've actually read about there possibly being a link between endo and the endocrine system, but I don't know how true that is. I need to look into that more actually. But that was quite interesting to read, because it kind of all makes sense, doesn't it, if it all ties in together. So anyway, I was put on this medication, and this tablet was absolutely tiny. Like, it was so tiny but so powerful. I had to take half a week for 5 years, it made me feel really bad as well. Like, I didn't need to feel any worse, but I remember I'd have to take it. I was working full-time as a waitress at this point, and I'd have to take the half that I had each week on my 2 days off, because it made me feel really bad. It made me feel really like kind of hungover and tired and just sort of rubbish, and it made my headaches worse, which wasn't very helpful. But you know, it's an incredible medication. You know, it sorted out the weird symptoms I was having. Like, I stopped producing the milk. God. You know, so it did its job, I guess, although they've not done another MRI since, which I've been trying to get them to do one for ages, because I still get a lot of the headaches. And I think when you've had this kind of thing, you get worried that you're gonna get something else, or it's gonna come back, or you're gonna get something worse. I've had like so many health problems in my life. Like, I've got really bad endometriosis, and then really bad IBS, and then like there's this thrown into the mix, which I guess potentially this could have been the most serious thing. It's a lot more serious if men get it. If you do have any odd symptoms, then do get it checked out. Anything like I'm describing, it's another one of these things there's not much awareness about. I literally didn't know what was going on with me. I didn't know why I was producing milk. It was just weird, isn't it? I think with men, you know, if you're watching this and you're a man and you're concerned about having a lot of headaches, and if you're having some odd symptoms, maybe like go to your doctor, definitely. But the symptoms for men are obviously different for women. It tends to typically get diagnosed in men later, because obviously you don't produce milk and stuff like that, obviously. Now, some people, it can affect their growth. So often men can be unusually tall, and that is usually linked to the pituitary gland having a hormonal imbalance, or like having a tumour, and stuff like that. I've seen programs on TV where they're showing men that the men have got these tumours. I mean, another thing that they did wonder with me is I'm quite unusually tiny, like petite that is, but my bones are very, very tiny. Like, people say they're petite, but I'm really like, I'm almost, I guess some people say I'm kind of like my mum anyway. She says I'm childlike in a sense. I mean, I'm not completely, like, I have developed, you know, but I am unusually small, like, not height-wise. I mean, I'm not very tall either, but I think I'm about 5'3", so that's not like a weird kind of unusually small, but it's more my frame. My bones are very tiny, like really tiny. My shoulders are really narrow. I'm really narrow here, like my legs. You can probably even tell, actually. So they did wonder if it had affected my like bone development and growth to an extent, but they weren't too concerned, because it's not like, they kind of just touched on it. They didn't really check me, but they don't seem to check properly for some reason with a lot of things, which is very annoying. So yeah, that is basically my story on what happened to me when I was younger. So I am glad that I have shared this with you, and I don't want anybody to say, and don't say to anybody that has got a pituitary tumour, or, you know, has had one, that like, oh well, you know, it's not really like a proper brain tumour or something, because that is a load of rubbish. It is a brain tumour. and it can cause havoc with your body. It can make you feel really, really bad. Some people need surgery for it. You know, it can be a recurring problem throughout your life. Yes, obviously it's not as serious as it could be. You know, at least, yeah, it's not cancer, but I've had the odd person say to me, you know, like, oh, well, you know, it's not really a brain tumour. And I think, you know, you obviously don't know what you're talking about. It is classed as a brain tumour because it is a tumour that grows on your pituitary gland. Yes, they're not, usually anyway, they're not as big as, say, like a different type of brain tumour. But yeah, so if you do know anyone with one that's had one, don't ever say anything like that, because I'm not saying you would, by the way. I really don't want to come off as like, you know, telling you, but it's just that I've known people say that kind of thing, and I don't want anyone to say that to anyone else, and I don't want to hear it either directed at me. If you've also suffered with any kind of brain tumour, or you've had the same kind of brain tumour as me, please share with me your story. I've not really met anybody personally, like in person, that has had this problem, and sometimes I'd like to talk to someone about it, and I'm always here to speak to you as well if you are a sufferer. So yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed my video, and if you've just stumbled across it, hopefully you've learned something new about other, you know, kinds of different types of brain tumour that are maybe not as known about, if that makes sense. So if you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I make a ton of videos. I've just started a new channel as well, which I'm really excited about, and I can put a link to that at the end and in the description that you might want to check out. It's kind of to do with my hobbies and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel better now that I've talked about this. I just didn't know how to go about it, and I was worried that people would basically be like, oh well, you know, it's not really that big of a deal, when it really is. People really suffer with this kind of thing. And I want to raise awareness on pituitary tumours as well, because when they go undiagnosed they can become quite dangerous as well. I was lucky, I guess. So yeah, I will speak to you guys soon. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell and give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.